Hey guys, in this first fundamentals lecture, I want to show you exactly how I go about creating a new spreadsheet and all the different shortcuts that you can use in Excel. So I've opened a new spreadsheet and I've created this table to save time. Now the first thing when you open a new spreadsheet is to always, at least it's a personal preference of mine, is to always select the whole spreadsheet from the top left corner and make it white. And the reason for that is when you're going to copy stuff across to PowerPoint, if it's not formatted as a table, which we will see later, this looks much better if it's a white background rather than all the grids that Excel has there by default because the cells have no fill. So now we fill them with white. Going to the table, I want to show you whenever you put a formula. So let's say, for example, I have a formula for profit here, which is going to be the price minus the cost, right? Everybody knows how to enter a formula. Now, once we have this formula here, rather than dragging it down, or we can drag it down, in this case, it's helpful, but imagine we have, let's say, 10,000 rows below. Rather than dragging it down, the shortcut would be to double click on the right hand corner, the bottom right corner. If we double click on that, it's going to expand the formula down. However, notice that this messes up the formatting because every cell will take this top bar here and apply it to every other cell. So what we then have to do, and I encourage you to get used to this as fast as possible, is we're going to copy this formula. We're going to select all the other 4 cells. We're going to right click. We're going to select paste special, and we're going to ask for formulas. So in this way, it doesn't apply the formatting, it's just copying across the formulas. And as you can see, the formatting is still neat, everything looks great. Now, in case you want to actually check the formulas, rather than just clicking here and then clicking on the top and seeing what the formula is, you can use F2. So simply click on a cell and F2 is going to show you the formula. Click on another one, F2, it shows you the formula, and so on. And once you start working in Excel a lot, or maybe you're already working in Excel a lot, I personally was always used to have one finger on the F2 button, so I was constantly checking formulas when it was a very formula-heavy spreadsheet. Now, the other shortcut that you need to be aware of is using the arrow keys. You need to hold down Control-Shift, and when you hold down Control-Shift, it will select all the cells that have a value, either going down or to the right or up or whatever the case may be. So imagine you have here 10,000 entries. If there's no space in between those 10,000 entries, rather than just taking your mouse and dragging it down and selecting with your mouse until you get bored and you actually get to 2,000, the much easier way is to hold Control-Shift, and then you're going to select all the values that go down or to the right. And that's a very fast way to select large tables instantly. So let's say now I want to add something that is common to cost, price, and profit, like a header. So let's say I want to call it breakdown. Now, once I add this breakdown here, I want to put it, I could place it here in the middle, but I want it to represent all of these 3 cells. So what I can do is I can select the 3 cells, and then basically I want it to represent all of them. So I'm going to click this button here. So go to the alignment section on the home tab and click this button here, which says merge and center. And once I do that, it will take the value that was in the left cell, so in my case cell C, which had breakdown, and it creates the cell which has all 3 columns, C, D, and E, which I can then format, and it looks very nice and very neat. Now, one other important feature that you might want to use with tables is the ability to show certain columns or to hide them, but you still want to keep the data in there. So what you can do is, if you go to the Data tab, on the far right, you will have this section which says Outline. And on this section, you have the Group and Ungroup buttons. So let's say, for example, I only want to see the price and the profit. I would select column C from here and press Group. And what that does is it's created a group out of column C, which if I then press, it hides it. And I can do the same for rows. I can select rows 4 and 5, group them, then minimize them, and then I'm left with what I chose. Or I can just expand them and then they show. To simply deselect all of this, select ungroup, select rows 4 and 5, ungroup, and it's back to normal. So those were your fundamentals for Excel. Obviously, there's a lot more tips and tricks to go with Excel, but that's not the purpose of our course. We want to know everything that is going to make it easy for us to create tables and charts and graphs and to export them to PowerPoint for us to use in presentations. So bear in mind that I'm going to include a PDF right after this lecture, which is going to detail all of these different shortcuts. So have a look at that. Otherwise, just go through the lecture again, take some notes, and every time you're in Excel, just try to practice these shortcuts, because practice makes perfect. And once you implement them a few times, it's going to become a habit. It's going to become automatic.